When the world needed him most, he vanished. Actually, no, I just kind of paused making videos. How's it going, guys? My name's Kyle Blessing. You might know me as Blessious, or you can call me whatever you want down in the comments below. I genuinely hope that you are doing well. Me, I literally cannot complain. Where did I go? Why did I stop making videos? Yo, I'll straight up tell you, last year I kind of got a dream offer from a video game publisher named Apogee Entertainment, and the name Apogee might ring some bells with some 90s gamers out there because they published Commander Keen, Wolfenstein 3D, one of the first FPS games ever, and put id Software on the map, and then also created Duke Nukem, Shadow Warrior, and so many other titles, and made the 3D Realms brand. And yeah, 3D Realms was Apogee. They were the same thing. And then one of the coolest things ever that no one knows about, Apogee was one of the driving forces with Remedy Games to make Max Payne, like Bullet Time. That was Scott Miller, the founder of Apogee's idea. And not only that, Apogee went on to work alongside Human Head Studios for Prey 2006. Fun fact, Prey 2006, I was working at a radio station, barely making any money. And that was the first video game that I made with my own cash. Fun fact. So weird serendipity there. And then after Duke Nukem Forever, the rights to the 3D Realms brand was sold to, I believe, a Swedish company, and then the Embracer Group. And so Apogee and 3D Realms are no longer, but during the days of, you know, everything before Duke Nukem Forever was Apogee, which I find super cool. There's so much rich gaming history and lore there. Some stuff I've been working on is basically Apogee's first games that they've published since their reemergence besides HD remasters, and that's Turbo Overkill, which is kind of like a boomer shooter but done to like the umpteenth degree with killer music. Like it's super awesome. And then there's Bread and Fred, which is basically this jump puzzle game where you're tied to a rope with a friend. Think Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy, but tied to your friend, and you're probably going to either get a divorce, end your friendship, or somehow make your way through some internalized therapy that was really needed. And the single player mode, which is awesome, you're tied to a rock named Jeff, and we all need a Jeff in our life. Upcoming games, there's a Zelda Mario Maker being in development, which you can download right now for free on Steam, called Questmaster. And that game is freaking cool. You can make your own dungeons, and there's some really neat stuff that you can do in that game. Another game is Below the Stone. Think Dwarven Pixel Escape from Tarkov, but single player. And this game, you're a dwarf. You're in this kingdom. You dig below. You face off against monster, get the precious loot, and you know, minerals, resources, and then you have to extract back up to that kingdom. But it gets really tough, and the developers do want you to break a keyboard or two. So just know it's harder than you think, but it's a lot of fun. And there's so many other amazing games in the pipeline and things at Apogee that I've been able to do. I've been able to voice act in games. Trailers. Below the Stone. I've edited the majority of the game trailers as well, which is really cool. If I'm not editing them, I'm at least some kind of participant in the process with ideas or getting assets to. The launch trailer for Rise of the Triad Ludicrous Edition was 98% my idea. There was a little bit of input from Dave Oshry from New Blood.
I am going to drown. This adorable. I would never.
A little bit of input from Jaron Moore, the executive producer at Apogee. But oh man, they let me spread my wings on the trailer, and I freaking love it. And that trailer is my baby.
From ancient times, I've watched empires crumble, heroes fade. But now, the world will bow to El Austero.
It's monks! It's all monks!
You're toast. They'll bury you in a lunchbox.
Here, catch.
Hey, where you going? Drop it!
Here, catch. Eat, lad. Eat toast. Eat, lad. Here, catch.
And that's also me as the bad guy at the start, so that's pretty cool. And I also do all the social media work. I started as a social media manager, and in a year I was able to just pick up and wear so many different hats. And now I'm the brand manager of Apogee, which is the coolest thing ever. So the other thing that I really want to express, and I genuinely mean this, is I want to thank Destiny. Not only Destiny the game, but Destiny the community. And without Destiny, I would not have the opportunities that I have. And I genuinely mean that. If you ever watched one of my videos, left a like, went to a stream of mine, I cannot say thank you, because without you, I would not be where I'm at in life. And I genuinely want to say thank you to that. I got my start in high school doing theater. First, I was doing tech for sound, then I was doing acting, and then after that, I was in radio, and I was doing overnights for a pop station. And then all of a sudden, I was doing all of the commercial production, and then I got into the imaging of the radio station. You know, when someone says, "Why? What a 6.5?" and then has all the sound effects behind it. Yeah, I was producing that. And then one thing led to another. I, was doing social media for the stations, editing cable commercials, and that's how I got into video editing. I don't know why radio stations were editing cable commercials, but radio stations probably needed to diversify. And then from that opened so many doors into content creation when I got into that, because not only had I had video editing down pat and being on air pat, so I wasn't camera shy or microphone shy, but I also had the professionalism to work with, publishers or brands via email, which I think some content creators might struggle with. And so, building relationships and networking that way. Some guy that you might work with for this brand might all of a sudden be working for this video game industry publisher, and then you're working with them. All of a sudden you're getting these opportunities, and that person might go work for Nintendo. And doing this since I really did start 2014, but 15 really kicked things off. I was full-time doing content creation by 2016, and that opened so many doors for me with voice acting. And that opened so many doors with me with working with brands and getting to know people at Nintendo, Warner Brothers, 2K. The list goes on and on. Xbox, Bethesda. It's really cool. And I owe a lot to Bungie. I owe a lot to the Destiny community. And I know that there's a point where I kind of had a little bit of burnout of making videos for Destiny as a whole. I think if you're eating lasagna every day, lasagna is really cool, and then you want a little bit, then a taco starts looking really delicious. That's the analogy I give it. And the one thing that looking back, I kind of just realized, in the real world, a lot of people are going through their day, might have a good day, but the one thing that they might be looking forward to is maybe this new quest in Destiny, this new raid in Destiny, this new grinding for a weapon or something like that. And when I really got my start with Blessious, I was 25, and as you can see by the gray in my beard, I'm 33, and I knew my shelf life was only so much. And but also, I did know from the start I only had so much of a shelf life, and but I also didn't think like I do now. You know, I was trying to be a creative and have creative freedom, and just getting frustrated at people wanting Destiny. And you know, like I can't fault anyone for that, 1000%. And the other thing that I will say about that is I think it was either 2015 or 16 when I went full time. King Gathalion made a tweet. If you don't know who King Gathalion is, he was like kind of like one of the fathers of the Destiny community, especially on Twitch, and one of the founders of GCX or Guardian Con. And he made a tweet that was something to the effect of, what's your 5-year plan as a content creator? Because you only have so much of a shelf life and you need to be cognizant of it. And at the time, you know, I didn't like it. I didn't reply to it. But, I'll straight up be like honest and say, "Oh man, what the F? Like, dude, I just got this. You're a Debbie Downer." Like, but I'm so glad I did have that initial reaction, because that left such an impression in me. It, like that little tweet went in my brain and sprouted. And I was so cognizant of like, okay, there's so much in this, and you know, let's see where it goes. You know, I kind of knew that I'd never be a Mr. Fruit or a Dado, but hey, the one thing that I kind of have working for me is, you know, networking. So like, hey, I can either use that and, you know, kind of like work in being a voice actor or getting into the video game industry. And so those were my two goals. And right around 2020 was kind of when I knew that I needed to really look into making the jump into, which was about like the 5-year mark, where like I wanted to have something that was a little bit more concrete as content creation, because content creation can be kind of, you know, kind of difficult. And you know, I was more so looking into voice acting at that time. I was having success, and you know, making TikToks and content and working into every piece of my content was doing well for me, and no regrets there. And then in 2020 we did a fundraiser and raised over $100,000 for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and we had Reggie Fils-Aimé join. And I will straight up be honest, we would not have raised that much money if it wasn't for Reggie. Straight up honesty. I'm not putting myself down. I know that I streamed every day. I know that I put in insane hours too, but if it wasn't for Reggie, that thing would not be hit. And I am indebted to Reggie for that. And that was one of the coolest moments of my life, playing Super Mario Party with him. And so how we did it was just like, it was me, Reggie, and we raffled off one. So if you donated, I think it was $50 if you don't, or $100. If you donated $100, you're entered to win in the raffle to join for the Mario Party. And then the other one was just the highest donator, and the highest donator was CC Kuhn, who I think donated 11,000 to St. Jude, which is crazy. Blew my mind. I think I was in tears. And that was one of the coolest days, playing Mario Party with him. And yeah, for forever, that was the coolest thing. And so after that, there was a job that opened up at Nintendo at the start of 2022, and I was like, dude, shoot your shots. I shot Reggie an email. I was like, hey, I asked this person who worked for like the PR, and I was like, this person is one of my references. Would you please be a reference for me for this gig? And you know, I was like, what's the worst that he's gonna do? Like, delete my email? And 30 minutes goes by. He responds. He was like, absolutely, you can use my name. Just know that guy that you're using for reference has way more power and clout than I do. And yeah, I appreciate him being humble, but it's freaking Reggie Fils-Aimé. And you know, I did not get the gig. However, along the way, like I was talking with networking, I got to be friends with Kit and Krista, who were behind the scenes at Nintendo doing marketing, but they also made this thing called Nintendo Minute, which was on their YouTube channel, where it was basically like kind of like this YouTube show. They would do unboxings, talk to developers, you know, tour Nintendo, talk about Nintendo, everything Nintendo. It was kind of like the face of Nintendo for YouTube. And I was featured in a couple of their videos for like playing Among Us on the Switch or Pokemon Unite. I kind of forget the other ones, but I think there was like 3 or 4. And they left Nintendo because they closed down an office in San Fran. They wanted people to relocate to Washington. And initially they reached out to me to like for me to share suggestions on how to be a content creator. We're gonna like, you know, do it safely financially. And they were asking questions about like, you know, TikTok or YouTube or like a Patreon. And a little bit of time goes by. It's basically June of last year. Krista, you know, reaches out about this position at Apogee. I didn't know it was Apogee at the time, and I submitted my you know, resume, and all of a sudden I was in like getting interview, and then I'm with like the top dogs of with Apogee. I had this hour-long interview, and then like I think like 2.5 weeks go by, and I'm starting to sweat. I'm like, I didn't get it. All of a sudden I get a I get an email, hey, you available tomorrow at this time? I'm like, yeah. And then it was quick. It was 15 minutes. It was like, so we have this question. Any questions for us? I'm like, no. I asked everything in the previous one, which I did. And I really do recommend, if you're going for interviews, really ask them questions. But for real, I try to nail it with that one interview. I really had nothing in my can. And it was done over, I would say, less than 15 minutes. I remember preparing my emotional support shower. I'm like, oh man, turn on the shower. I messed that thing up. There goes that chance. And then all of a sudden there's an email. We'd like to offer you this position. I'm like, what? And then my first day was PAX West last year, and the Apogee booth was right next to the Pokemon booth. And it was a dream come true. And they have, in that 1 year that I've been with them, I've like, I think they appreciate that I shoot my shot for everything. I have no complaints, like, and it's really cool. And the one thing that I did ask was like, hey, I still do voiceover work outside of Apogee and do content creation. They're like, as long as you don't do it in work hours. I'm like, damn, like that's like, damn. Can't beat that. And so after that, I didn't want to stop doing content creation, but I just wanted to kind of like just take a pause, you know, like doing content creation for that long is kind of a lot. And if I was going to do it again, I want it to be on my own. And I take inspirations from like I don't exactly know what I want to do. I kind of want to go with the flow. I'm not doing it for viewership. I'm not doing it for brand deals or anything like that. I just want to have fun, be creative, be me. And if no one watches this, that's cool. But yeah, I just kind of just wanted to have fun, fart around, and have my little creative outlet. And yeah, it's kind of like the whole point of doing it again. And so I figured if there's a Nintendo Direct or, you know, a game I'm kind of interested in, I might dabble, stream it, or make a video. There's not gonna be a schedule. It's just me having fun. Maybe you'll see 1 a week, maybe you'll see 3 a week, maybe there'll be a skip when I'm on a vacation. That's kind of like the plan. And the other thing that I really want to talk about content creation, and I genuinely mean this, is this thing called burnout. And I know that a lot of people say, oh, content creation isn't a job. You know, you can make it a job, and there is money in it. However, it's very volatile, and so just know that. And the one thing I just want to precaution people on is mental health. You know, I'm not getting on a bandwagon or anything like that. All I'm saying is, when it's your job and you're relying on money, you know, and I'm only bringing this up because I was in radio. When you're in radio, no one truly knows how many people are listening to those radio stations. You know, it's broadcasted. There's no live viewership numbers like there is Twitch and YouTube. You know, like, yeah, you can hear that there might be like a brand deal with the radio station, but And so with that, with content creation, everything is, you see your live numbers. Everybody sees your numbers, whether it's a live stream, YouTube video. Everybody sees if you get a brand deal or if you don't. I think that weighs a lot on people, and they might, think that they might not be worthy, or why didn't I get this, or hey, I feel stuck to this game, or something like that. And so the one thing that I will say is my heart goes out to the content creators out there. I know it's not easy, but the one thing that I will say, and this one is more so for the content creators out there, by no means do I think that I am hot shit or anything like that. But if I am able to break into the video game industry and successfully use content creation on my resume and bring it to these positions, whether it's editing trailers or managing digital store assets for Steam, or like when I say that, it's like creating the Photoshop. Like if you make, like on YouTube, to get a video watched, you have to make a good thumbnail, right? And by making thumbnails, obviously you know how to operate Photoshop, and obviously wow, you can move these digital assets around for Steam and Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, 5 and Xbox. Believe in yourself, and you never know, whether it's influencer management, whether it's community management, whether it's doing social media, no matter what it is, like have faith. What you do is a job, no matter how much that one guy on the internet says get a job. Yo, man, someone is telling Joe Rogan to get a job with his podcast, man. He's a millionaire. So just and the other thing to content creators, if you're watching this, is if you're getting hate, you are doing good in life. That's all I'm saying. Because once you stop content creation and stop getting the hate, you'll realize, geez, man, that hate was telling me that I was actually doing something and they were just jealous. So for the content creators out there, keep your head up. I know that not everyone's dream might be working in the video game industry, but whatever you do, man, as long as your resume reflects what you do, you could be a host. You can break into almost every industry by what you do, except maybe a mechanic, unless you live stream mechanics. But again, I don't know, you probably could, I don't know. Anyway, that's my video, and I just want to say, thank you for the years of support. If you made it this far, I have an ask. In the comments, if you could, hashtag what happened to Bless. Just put that. And if you want to go a step further on your favorite social media, if you just put the hashtag what happened to Bless, I will make sure, if it's on Twitter or X or whatever you call it, or Instagram, I will comment, I'll put in my story, I will retweet it, re-X it, yeah, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. You more than anything changed my life. And I hope, whether you're a content creator, aspiring content creator, or wanting to get into the video game industry, don't let anything ever get in your way. If you want something, go get it, man. And the last thing that I'll say is, like, the cheesiest thing, freaking manifest it and say, well, if you're saying I just need to make the time to do it, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. That's it. I think that's the secret. If you want something, just do it. Go for that run. Make that video. Turn on that live stream. Make that tweet. Just do it. Nike, don't sue me. Anyway, cowabunga, dude. Be good to yourself and treat others nice too. I don't know what to say at the end of this. I'm just going to turn this thing off.